Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be talking about the March 3rd, 2020 tornado that struck Nashville, Tennessee, and some other parts of the United States near the vicinity of Nashville. Well, first of all, I want to just send out my condolences and prayers to the families of the victims at this point in time. This is something that just kind of reminds us that there's nobody invincible to natural disasters. You want to call them acts of God, whatever you refer to them as. And Tennessee, well, in that middle Tennessee area by Nashville, I mean, you have a lot of hills. You don't really get too many tornadoes. You had one in 1998, in April of 98, that was very devastating. This one that hit Nashville this year in 2020, this was an EF4 rating, which is very devastating, can be very volatile, very destructive. You could have winds that could be close to like 200 miles an hour, if not at 200 miles per hour in this, as far as the tornado speed goes. Tornadoes obviously are something that could be very frightening, and no matter how brave you are as a person and how much fortitude you have, this is something I think that could even put the most calm, placid person that can be unflappable in a lot of situations, really can make them at least a little bit anxious. Those things, tornadoes can be very scary, and obviously, and the thing about it is, this happened around 1 a.m. and I wonder, I don't know this for a fact, but there obviously may have been some people that were, when I say comatose, I mean sleeping, that may have been sleeping during this tragic event. And imagine, like, you wake up to this, to that noise, and I mean, it just would be so horrific and seeing the devastation in these houses being flattened. I mean, to have to go through that experience. I'm lucky I have never been involved in one. I had some close calls. I had that one in Nashville in 1998 where it touched down not far from where I lived at that point in time, but I'm lucky I got out of that unscathed. And I wasn't near this one either, fortunately, and I got out of that one unscathed. But you can never say never when you look at situations like this. And Donald Trump, I understand he has got a lot of received a lot of flack about appearing somewhat callous or cold and undemonstrative during that coronavirus. They had that press conference or what have you with the president and the vice president, where Vice President Pence dominated, and had come out of that talk and that conversation about it, and that Donald Trump really, they felt that he could have said a little bit more as far as the human aspect or human element of the coronavirus, as opposed to looking at the financial aspect. What I'm getting to is, in this event, he did touch down on he did reach out. I don't know if it was through social media or Twitter what he did, but he did reach out to the people in Nashville, and that he did have some sentiments for them. So he did show certain compassion right there. Some people, there's times I'll say that I don't think Donald Trump shows an overabundance and surfeit of compassion, but he did in this instance. So maybe it's a fluctuating thing with him. Hey, the guy is a Gemini sun, so maybe he's kind of fluctuates back and forth with other energy as well. But I'm only joking, but as far as that goes. But anyway, yeah, and this thing, I mean, it not only it killed, actually, there's 20, according to Wikipedia.org, there's 25 confirmed dead as a result of this devastating tornado, and over 150 people, I believe, were hospitalized as a result of this. And something like this that's so deadly and lethal, I can't imagine too many other things as far as natural disasters than a tornado that would be more terrifying, and it would make you feel more petrified than that. That is something that I'm glad I never like actually experienced in terms of my home being annihilated as a result of the tornado. And think about the people that survived, but they had some likely businesses destroyed and people's homes destroyed. And I'm hoping that the people, I mean, I'm sure there may be some that didn't have it, but I really hope at least, I hope that everybody had home insurance or business insurance or something, which I doubt everybody had, but I do hope that they did. And that they had something to cover this, their losses, sadly. And this is, again, this is, I mean, terrifying, some cuts to hear something like this and and for this to happen, like at the dead of night, near 1 a.m. And when I mean, if you're not alert, and you're not cognizant of this, and if it hits your home on impact, and I mean, you're there on impact, something like that. I mean, going, probably was close to 200 miles an hour. That it's really hard to actually, like, really, I mean, unless you're watching a video, I'll see a video of it, of course, to really envision what that would be like, and trying to deal with some kind of situation like that. And the thing about it is, they say during, like, if you hear about a tornado that's going to come toward you, and you're not unable to get out of your home at the time due to the speed of the tornado and its closeness and proximity to your home at the time, that a lot of people, they'll say to you, can go into a bathroom and put a mattress over your body, and for some protection, which, I mean, could at least help somewhat, or perhaps diminish the damage, or decrease the propensity, basically, for physical harm as a result of the tornado. I saw something one time. I mean, there was something happened in, I don't know if it was Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That happened a number of years ago. It was around 2011 or something, and there was an article in Sports Illustrated about it, and sent one person catapulting about at least 100 feet in the air. But they had in the article in Sports Illustrated, they were talking about that there was, at least I believe it was a couple people that were involved on some college sports team, might have been a baseball team. And they went into the bathroom, and they took a mattress and they put it over their body. I thought this was very interesting. This has a spiritual aspect and element to it. That when the tornado hit, basically almost the entire house was pretty much annihilated and obliterated, except the bathroom area. And there was some psalm from the Bible, or some proverb from the Bible, and it was on the wall, and that stood there after the tornado hit. And it was like, I'm a believer. I believe God may very well have protected those people from harm and at that time. And it's just, again, going back to this Nashville tornado, it was just for something like this to happen. It just something like that, I could see it being so traumatic. And when you take like 25 lives of somebody, you're hurting so many other people, all their friends, acquaintances, family members. And again, it goes back to what I stated before, reiterating a little bit what I said earlier in the video. Nashville area doesn't get an overabundance of tornadoes. I think likely that's attributed to the fact that there's a lot of hills in the area, and you have this higher elevation, and the hills, and that kind of that diminishes the tornadic activity to some degree. I imagine Texas, I would say Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas likely get their fair share of tornadoes, but Middle Tennessee, I think what's so shocking when it happens in that Middle Tennessee area is because it doesn't happen very often. It's fairly isolated when those moments do occur. But the thing about it is they're so unpredictable, and you just don't know, obviously, when something like that is going to transpire. And thank God there weren't more casualties as a result of that tornado. And anyway, people, that's really about all I wanted to say as far as that, as far as the tornado goes, as far as the Nashville tornado goes. And again, I just want to, if anybody in Nashville happens to see this, and Nashville, Tennessee area, just and if you see it and you know any of the people, the family members of the victims, just reach out to them if you can, let them know, relay the message, or share the video with them. And my heartfelt sympathies are going out to those people. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.